3, 2, 1, go! Welcome everybody to the unboxing of the brand new Huawei Honor Note 10, the beast from the east. It's been nearly 2 years since Huawei have released a new Honor Note device, but the wait is finally over. They're back with a bang with the Honor Note 10. Huawei here have created a monster. You'll really want to stick around for this one, so sit back, relax and enjoy. Let's get started. Now, you may not be able to tell from first glances, but this is no ordinary size smartphone box. It's frankly huge compared to other smartphones I've unboxed prior to this. That's because the Honor Note 10 is huge. It's essentially near full-blown tablet territory, as you'll see soon enough. Okay, beginning with the overall packaging and box, it's quite familiar to the original Honor 10 in its appearance. All-round clear white box with the Note 10 in Chinese and English in its signature blue font and subtle Honor branding at the bottom of the box. The Honor Note 10 is an exclusive device as Huawei have only released this phone in China, hence the Chinese branding. On both sides of the box there's simply the blue Note 10 branding with no fancy taglines. Even the back of the box is very plain with only manufacturing information at the bottom in Chinese. On the underside of the box, more information in Chinese, but if you look on the left hand side, it says 128 gigs and 6 gigs of RAM. The Note 10 is packing flagship specifications. The Honor Note 10 comes in two colours, Midnight Black and Phantom Blue. This is the Phantom Blue edition, which looked phenomenal when I first saw it online. Right, let's bring this guy in. Yeah, I know, every other big tech reviewer uses one, so it's my turn now. Okay, perfect. And time to get the plastic fully off. Come on, let's go. There we are. Nice. Now, let's get under the hood and get this lid off. Ooh, here we go. There it is. So it's sitting firmly within its tray. Right, let me just get it out and give you guys a quick sneak peek. Quick first impression guys, this thing is huge. I'll compare the size to another phone soon enough so you can make out the difference. The Phantom Blue at the back is coming out beautifully through the plastic seal. Upon first glances, in my opinion, the Note 10 looks spectacular. Okay, I'm gonna just set it down here for a second as we sift through the contents of the box. Right, so you guys can see there's a strip of barcodes and what looks to be EMUI information, so let me just get that out of the way before we look at the main contents. Right, so let's start off with the main tray that was sitting underneath the phone. So we've got a cartridge here and we can see the SIM ejector pin. Now let's open it up and see what else we have. So inside is a plastic case. Great, I'll check that out in just a second, so I'll just put it aside. And we've got the Huawei Quick Start Guide and warranty information, which is perfect providing you can read Chinese. So I'll put that to a side for now. Let's check out the case that Huawei have provided. So we have here a clear transparent TPU case. Now this seems to be a signature trademark from Huawei. They always providing cases for the devices and the trend continues with the Huawei Honor Note 10, so that's a great touch. Moving on, we have here the USB Type-C charging cable in white, just like my other Huawei cables. Next up we've got here a small plastic pouch, so let me just remove the plastic seal. It's a Type-C to 3.5mm headphone jack adapter. There's no headphone jack here, which is now becoming a tradition for nearly all Android smartphones apart from Samsung it seems. I mean, who's a fan of a headphone jack? I know I am, leave me a comment if you are too. And finally we have here a super fast charger. It does look significantly different to my other Huawei fast chargers, but this is possibly due to it being the Chinese variant. So upon further inspection it says Huawei Supercharge at the top, and obviously it's 2 pins for Chinese and other international consumers. We have 3 pins for our chargers here in the UK. Nothing around the sides and with some very light Huawei branding just above the USB port. That's all for the contents of the box it seems, and nothing else left inside. Moving on. Now, the time you've been waiting for. Let's check out the monster. You know ripping off the seal is everyone's favourite part of the unboxing and I am no different. Now that was satisfying. Let me just pause for a moment. Wow, this might single-handedly be the most phenomenal looking smartphone I've seen in quite some time. The sheer size of this device is incredible, and its undeniably attractive glassback phantom blue finish is just a joy to look at. Huawei, you've created something unique here, no doubt. I don't know how you guys are not selling this to the rest of the world. I mean, just look at this thing. Now, there's a lot to get through, but I'm going to start off with one of the Note 10's most unique selling points, which is its look and design. The Huawei Honor Note 10 features a phenomenal 6.95 inch nearly bezel-less design with no notch, which is a huge deal. Having said that, however, Huawei have done a great job with the notch on their smartphones like the P20 Pro and Nova 3. And guys, it's actually surprisingly light and very thin for a phone that has flagship hardware and technology packed inside. You can see the fantastic blue colour accent on its thin aluminium frame as I move it around. For my hands, I feel as though the size is quite ergonomic, considering it's just shy of 7 inches, which is insane if you compare that to the average phone size, which is around 5.3 inches. So, at the bottom we have the Honor branding at the centre of the bottom of the display. As we come underneath, we've got a massive speaker grille as the Honor Note 10 has dual speakers with Dolby Atmos support. In the centre is the USB Type-C charging port, and within its grille will be the mic. On the right hand side is our volume keys, and underneath is the power button. But we have here something brand new as we move further down the frame. There is a button here also. Now what does this do? Any guesses, guys? No, it's not a dedicated camera button as it may seem, like Sony tend to do. Here, Huawei have created a dedicated button to switch on double turbo mode, which switches on GPU and CPU turbo acceleration together for the highest possible performance. Now that is something. I'll be sure to test this feature out in my performance comparison tests. Right, moving on the left hand side is just the SIM ejector tray. Now you could argue that one of the buttons could have been placed on this side since all three are on the right hand side. Up top is the second speaker grille, so as I mentioned, we've got dual speakers coming from the top and bottom of this phone, and also possibly a secondary mic. Very nice. And there's no other features like an IR blaster, for example, up top. So, on the all glass back, it's clearly very reflective and no doubt will be a giant fingerprint magnet. Its design and aesthetics, however, in my opinion is outstanding to say the least. It's certainly becoming Huawei's signature style by creating some of the most vibrant two-tone glass panels this year, like the Twilight P20 Pro and the original Phantom Green Honor 10. Instead, this time Huawei have kept a single colour tone for its Note 10, which as you can see is the wonderful Phantom Blue effect. So at the bottom alongside the glass panel is the Honor branding, and if you have very good eyesight, there's also some Chinese text here as well if you can zoom in. I'm actually curious as to what it says. Okay, and as we move up the long panel, we have here the Note 10's fingerprint sensor aligned in the center, which is some people's preferred placement like the Huawei Mate 10 Pro for example. And once again, save the best for last. Here we have the Honor Note 10's dual lens camera setup, or as Huawei or Honor like to put it, an AI camera, which is also written here. The main camera is a 16 megapixel RGB lens with an f1.8 aperture, and the secondary camera is a 24 megapixel monochrome lens with the same f1.8 aperture. So I'm intrigued to see how this compares to the Huawei P20 Pro and Mate 10 Pro cameras. The phone also supports smart scene recognition or so-called AI stabilization for night mode shots. We haven't got optical image stabilization here, as this is more commonly found on the Leica camera lenses on flagships like the P20 Pro for example. The all glass design in this colour makes this one of the most visually stunning phones I have seen to date. The overall look and feel for such a big smartphone clearly indicates how efficient Huawei's engineering is, and that's why it's no surprise Huawei are now second globally as a manufacturer in today's smartphone industry. So now that we've had a good look at the phone, I'll power it on so we can check out the nearly 7-inch display in all of its glory. But just before I do that, it's an ideal time to remove the pre-fitted screen protector for maximum display value. And actually, this is the second Honor phone I've had in my studio. The first was the Honor 9, and both have the same classic startup animations as we can see right now. I'll need to change the language to English as the default is Chinese. As I mentioned, this is a Chinese sold handset. Right, I'll be back in just a moment. I'll do the full setup off camera. And behold, the one and only Huawei Honor Note 10. Now let me just set the record straight. This display is simply spectacular from what I can see in front of me. The default theme that Huawei have used is so fitting and matches the Phantom Blue glass back. But possibly my favourite design aspect on the display is how Honor have incorporated a nearly bezel-less design with a symmetrical curved edge look. It actually gives the illusion that the panel is curved when in fact it's actually flat. And coupled with the fact it does not have a notch either, for me that makes it one of the best displays I've seen all year. So the Honor Note 10 has a Super AMOLED display. Sources claim it has a screen to body ratio of 81.5%, when in reality to me from what I can see it looks closer to over 90%. There is Corning Gorilla Glass protection on both the back and front glass panels. and it has the modern aspect ratio, which is now 18:5:9. And out of the box I can tell immediately that the display is fantastically bright and vivid. The Note 10 has a resolution of 2020x1080 pixels, which makes it a full HD plus display. It's also HDR10 compliant, so I'm expecting to see very deep blacks and high contrast. And we're seeing the default display here without any modifications or enhancements. And as my channel is getting more demands for more new content, I'll be conducting a brand new series of HDR display comparison tests, guys. These will showcase which smartphone has the best all-round display quality. They'll be coming very soon, so stay tuned for them. Out of the box, it's ready with Android 8.1 Oreo and Huawei's overlay EMUI 8.2. Okay, a quick overall specs rundown. The Huawei Honor Note 10 has the Kirin 970 chipset with an octa-core CPU with the Mali G72 GPU. This is still their latest gen processor until we get news for the Huawei Mate 20. Internal memory of 128 gigs and 6 gigs of RAM, which is expandable to 256 using SIM slot 2, meaning the phone is a dual SIM handset. And with its dedicated CPU and GPU turbo button, the Honor Note 10 is packing some serious power. Speaking of power and size, the Huawei Honor Note 10 has a 5000 mAh battery. 5000, guys. This is incredible. It blows the Samsung Galaxy Note 9's 4000 mAh battery out of the water. Similar to the Note 9, the Note 10 gets an internal heat pipe with a liquid cooling solution, which in result helps dissipate heat faster. Yeah, I sense a battle coming. Samsung Galaxy Note 9 versus Huawei Honor Note 10. Speaking of the Note 9, this is where things take a slight U-turn for the Note 10, because unfortunately it doesn't have a water resistant body, headphone jack or wireless charging support, unlike the Note 9. At least one or two of these features would have been welcome, but having all three absent is a bitter pill to swallow. Then again, the device doesn't have traditional flagship level pricing either. It's retailing in China for around $500, half of the price of the Note 9. But it's certainly not half a phone. It's got huge potential. Drop me a comment if you'd like to see the Note 9 versus the Note 10. Speaking of comparisons, here is my Razer phone. You want to see a difference in size, right? Well, here it is. The Razer phone has a 5.7 inch display, and the Note 10, as I've mentioned earlier, has a 6.95 inch display, and due to its much higher screen to body ratio, it makes the Razer phone look so much more smaller in size. Thumbs up for that. So, overall guys, I believe Huawei and its sub-brand Honor have done a fantastic job with this smartphone based on everything I've witnessed so far and mentioned here. I cannot wait to begin performance tests so I can push the Note 10 to its full capabilities and test it against the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, P20 Pro, or whichever other phones you guys would like to see. What an outstanding device, both in terms of uniqueness, design and specifications, and not to mention price. Huawei have really created a monster with the Honor Note 10. Okay guys, what do you make of this phone so far? Hit me up in the comment section below. I'm really looking forward to your responses on this one, no doubt. And keep an eye out on this one because there are going to be some incredible comparison tests. Stick around, trust me, you really don't want to miss it. And with that being said, thank you once again for coming through and showing your support. Keep it coming. Smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And as always guys, hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. And I'll catch you guys all on the next one.